Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, and indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including a bunch of new trailers that dropped over the weekend for Rebel Moon, Damsel, and a Terminator animated series. Now, what's going on with Gladiator 2 and Gray Man 2? Is that going to happen? Of course, it's Monday, so we'll talk about the weekend's box office and the Marvels. The Marvel's box office failure, which pains me to say that it does, because I kind of enjoyed the movie, guys. So let's start off today's show by talking about Superman Legacy, though, because I think this will be the big headline of the day. Superman Legacy, James Gunn confirms the film is on schedule for 2025 release. Good. Well, that's good news. Yeah, this is where David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan. Actually, I think they're going to be a good pair. I'm looking forward to it. Because of the strikes now ending, everything is getting pushed around. Release dates are just getting shifted, and I think learning about this being on track it's a good sign, right? July 11th, 2025. So it's still going to be shooting next year. It's just the release date should be firm. Like, it's not going to be affected that much. Remember, James Gunn had been working on the script for a long time, even before the writer's strike. The script was already done. James Gunn took to his Twitter and said this: "Thanks to the efforts of our talented crew who never lost faith during the longest strikes in Hollywood history, and who never let their foot off the pedal, continuing to barrel forward, creating the most amazing character and set designs I've seen in my entire career. Superman Legacy was originally planned for July 11th, 2025. So it will be there. Tentatively." Now watch me do a story tomorrow, and it'll be like, sorry guys, we're going to switch that to December 2025. Yeah, something like that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen. Yeah. But I am looking forward to this project, so does it behoove us to try to indulge in some speculation now? No, they said that they're going to start shooting in 2024, so that's when, once we get some more casting, like who is going to be Lex Luthor and stuff like that, we've already got a lot of casting news in it, so hopefully that'll go. When they were putting this all together, I pulled this headline about Superman as well. Thought we should talk about it. Jacob Elordi refused to audition for Superman because that's too dark for me. Calls the Kissing Booth films ridiculous. I didn't want to make them. Yes. Jacob Elordi thought that's not a good headline right there, man. What are you saying, dude? Okay, so he was just in Priscilla. That's out in theaters right now. He played Elvis. And then in this coming week, he'll be in Saltburn, which I do want to see. I'm looking really forward to Saltburn. But I might have to find... Actually, I was just at the Art House Theater, and I don't know if they're going to be playing that there. I didn't see a listing. But I do want to see Saltburn. But he was in the Kissing Booth films with Joey King. 3 of them, right? They were teen rom-coms. So what did you expect, man? But calling the Superman Legacy too dark. So is that like a clue as to, like, how would he know that was too dark? Did he get some pages of the script? What do you mean? What do you mean too dark? Because everything that we've heard from James Gunn is that he wants to return to that bright, kind of happy Superman that's like the Boy Scout that stands for honor and peace and justice. Not that one of brooding Superman that's kind of like, I don't know if I should use my power. No, not that Superman. Not the Snyder Superman from Man of Steel. That quote, this whole headline just rubs me the wrong way, because Jacob Elordi was good as Elvis in Priscilla, and I was looking forward to Saltburn, but these just kind of like, you're putting your foot in your mouth, dude. So talking about that, I didn't want to make those movies before I made those movies. Elordi told GQ. They're ridiculous. They're not universal. They're an escape. Well, what's wrong with that? That's what films are supposed to be for, dude. Like he's talking about the kissing booth movies here, um, which I tried to watch, but it was a little too CW for me. Like I wanted to support Joey King's work, and I couldn't stomach it. So it happens. Uh, Kissing Booth trilogy is now out there. What do you think about that quote, Superman? Because it's too dark for him. You see the trailers. He does look like he's cut from the same cloth that he could play Clark Kent easily, um, and probably Superman too. He's got the height too. Uh, yeah. Everything that I hear about Corn Sweat, though, when I show pictures of him to people, he's like, well, he just looks exactly like Henry Cavill. It's like, well, yeah, he does a little bit, but that's because they're looking for that same thing. Um, Jacob Elordi just has a little bit of a different. He does reek a little bit of that kind of like majesty of what Superman could be. But anyway, I just thought that was a curious headline to pull. Superman headlines. All right, guys, it's Monday, so let's talk about the weekend's box office report, including the Marvels that opened up here and overseas, including in China. China box office, the Marvels bombs as superhero fatigue deepens. Uh, the Marvels sequel, which cost $200 million to make. Now, that's being reported here. We'll take a look at that as we break into the numbers here. That's on the lower end of what some people are reporting. I believe it's somewhere in the middle. We won't know exactly until, like, if you really wanted to find out, like, later on down the line when they filed their tax forms and stuff, then we'll find out officially how much it costs. And there's people out there right now making them their YouTube videos and their views by jumping on the hate bandwagon, saying, "Oh, I told you that it was going to be bad even before I saw it. I made all these videos that were like, oh, I don't like men. I don't." It's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like they're just trying to poo-poo all over men, and it's like, did you watch the movie? No, they're not. Did I concede that there's problems with the movie? Yes, I did, but it's not anywhere near the worst film of the year. It's nowhere near the worst Marvel film that I've seen. So I enjoyed it. Now, typically in the past, most MCU movies, uh, I'm really surprised that it was allowed to be shown in China, because even Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't allowed to be shown in China. It's just, it's a weird thing. But let's get into the domestic numbers here, guys. For the weekend of November 10th to the 12th, and I know it's a long weekend for some people in the States because of Veterans Day, they move it to Monday. Here it's only for kids, but like the government doesn't shut down. So it's really a 2-day weekend, right? Just a normal weekend. So the top 5 go: number 1, The Marvels; number 2, Five Nights at Freddy's; number 3, Taylor Swift The Eras Tour; number 4 was Priscilla; and number 5 was Killers of the Flower Moon. And I think I called that, didn't I? I said maybe Journey to Bethlehem could get in there, but The Holdovers, the other new film that expanded into a little bit more theaters, came in the 6th spot, and that only had 778 theaters. We'll talk about The Holdovers in just a moment, but let's talk about the number 1 movie, The Marvels, at 47 million domestically. 47 million domestically, 41.5 internationally, for a worldwide total of 88.5. So, is that good or is that bad? Well, that would depend on what the budget is. And as we saw in that article over there on THR, they said it was around 200. I see reports up to 274. Forbes is saying that it was 220. Forbes also says it's 270 million. So, yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt. We won't know the official number, but I would say it's somewhere between 220 to 274. So let's just say 250. Let's just round it up for 250. It's probably like, you got to account for marketing and what theaters are going to haul. So I would say somewhere around 500 million to break even. It's not going to make that, guys. And I know that the haters out there are saying, well, James, I see all these people apologizing because, well, the stars weren't able to go out and promote it and stuff like that. People weren't talking about it. that has no bearing really, because look at Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's didn't have that, and look how much of a success smash Five Nights at Freddy's was, man. Of course, Five Nights at Freddy's in the second spot had a lower budget, but uh, that had didn't have the artists coming out and promoting. It was all about the property because people wanted to see Five Nights at Freddy's. Did people want to see the Marvels? No. But that's what Kevin Feige and the rest over there at Disney and the MCU Marvel Studios wanted to show us. And guys, I said this in my straight out of the theater reaction. If you didn't know who Miss Marvel was or Monica Rambeau, and yeah, this movie didn't do a really good job of setting up those two characters. Like they were just there. And I like Kamala Khan. Iman Vellani is great. I want to see more from her. Except I think this may be the end for her. Maybe in a Young Avengers, maybe they'll be able to have her around for that. I think this will be the last time we're going to see Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. They just got to get to the storyline where she gives her powers to Rogue, and that's it. That's it. It's done. Um, Chris Gore over on Film Thread said it best. We don't know Captain Marvel. It's not like Superman where we don't understand. Well, we understand that there's like Clark Kent and then his Superman personas, right? We don't know anything about her. She's just floating around in space. What does she stand for? What does she do? She tries to help people, but in this movie, it shows when she's trying to help people, she turns the entire planet against her. There's some drama that comes along with that I wish the movie would focus in on. And you got a talented actress in Brie Larson, and you're wasting it with throwaway villains. That well, here's a throwaway villain that they've got to face, and yeah, Monica, like Teyonah Parris was. I thought she was great in this, but it was kind of like if you didn't watch WandaVision, it's like who's this person? Why are they here? What's going on? Yeah, there's the throwaway villain. I think she's great. She's got to have a bigger career. Like it would have been awesome if she was like in the Red Sonja movie as like the villain or something. But anyway, I agree with the costume. It didn't look all that great. I liked what they did with her face, with the eyes and the teeth. I liked that stuff. I just thought it was just things that she could use to accent her villainy. But critics didn't like it. But people who saw it, 84% were like, okay, yeah. It was by far not the worst film that I've seen. Perry liked it. Okay, we trust her, Perry Nemiroff. The Marvels is a vibrant, well-paced film that's packed with extremely well-photographed and choreographed action. It's also brimming with the cast chemistry and Rock's narrative that builds the team and the characters as individuals. She gave it a 4 out of 5, so it's 8 out of 10. I gave it a 6.5, didn't I? People who didn't like it, Rolling Stone. This wobbly addition to the overall saga does not pass muster as either a sequel to the 2019 Captain Marvel solo outing or some of its part team up. Well, that's the thing too, and I understood those criticisms. People wanted to see a Captain Marvel 2. Well, you just thought logically, well, it'll be Captain Marvel 2, but it's not. It's the Marvels movie. Captain Marvel's just a character in it. And I think I think they did a disservice. They should have just did a Captain Marvel 2 and introduced her interactions with Monica in that movie. And then you would have had Kamala Khan come into the Marvels, which would have been the third movie. This should have been the third movie. That's really what it should have been. And to close out Miss Marvel's arc, or Captain Marvel's arc. But with the budget being hovering around the 250 to 270 mark, Marvel's box office, it's going to run into a couple of kids' movies this month, guys. It's going to run into Trolls, and it's going to run into Wish. So that's competing box offices. Napoleon's not going to affect Marvels that much. Saltburn's not going to affect the Marvels that much. Eli Roth's Thanksgiving comes out this weekend. Those two movies, Napoleon Sorry, no. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is that's part of the Marvel's box office as well. It is, so it's going to really affect it. It will drop down because we've got Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Thanksgiving opening up this week, and that's going to be Ballad will be number one. Uh, Thanksgiving will be number two, and then Marvels will be number three. Because Marvels will get chopped down about 20 to 25 million, unless Thanksgiving doesn't make that much. Well, maybe Marvels will retain the second spot. I don't know. Eli Roth's Thanksgiving is like a grindhouse horror. Maybe it'll be third spot, and then Five Nights at Freddy's, and then Taylor Swift will round us out in the fifth spot. Yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a shame for the Marvels because it had a big upward battle. There's just the regime out there that didn't like her from the get go, because of, and a lot of that had to do with Brie Larson's press tour of coming off a certain arrogance about it. Um, and despite the fact that the people say that they're not biggest, or what, yeah, they're not bigots. It's like, but you're making videos about her. You're talking about bigotry in all of your videos. They're like, they're man haters. They don't understand their audience. It's like, well, God's sakes. Just don't pay attention to those people. I don't subscribe to those people. In fact, I'm this close from unsubscribing to one of my go-to guys for Hellraiser coverage, and because of nonsense like, oh, it sucks and it sucks, and I'm not, but I'm honest. I'm going to give it a fair shake. He goes to see the movie. It's the worst movie ever. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's awful. They hate men. It's like, no, get out of here with that nonsense, dude. There's just I have no patience for it. So we're moving on. All right. Taylor comes in the third spot. That's good. And she's opened up a tour in Buenos Aires. We'll talk about that later in the show as well. Priscilla, we just talked about this in the fourth spot. That's good for Priscilla, actually. For a worldwide total of 12.7. I think the budget was like 25 million. Um, no international numbers yet. Wait till that gets out into the international numbers, and Elvis fans worldwide will be able to see that. This is the one that I said where Jacob Elordi plays Elvis. It's about their marriage. Was that the second week? No, the third week. A24. And it's still only 2,300 theaters. Huh. Killers of the Flower Moon rounds us out at the fifth spot. And we need to talk about Killers of the Flower Moon just for a bit. 137 million. No, it's this is another movie that cost upwards of 200 million plus. Nobody's talking about this as a big bomb either. Very few people are actually acknowledging that this is a bomb. Again, they're twisting themselves into pretzels to try to reconcile it and say, well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, guys. I admit, I had fun with the Marvels. It's going to bomb. It is a bomb. So why can't you do the same when it comes to Killers of the Flower Moon? Because it's Scorsese, James. Because it's Leonardo DiCaprio. It's going to get awards. It's going to be one of the most prestigious films of the year. You can't say that. Well, we did say that, and we're not the only ones that are saying comments like this. Lily Gladstone is also saying this. Killers of the Flower Moon, Lily Gladstone shares message for film's native audience. And I like this. I'm glad that she came out and said something about this. Because, yeah, if you're Native American, it's not nice to watch us get killed. Because so many of us already were killed. It's just watching that depicted on screen, and the callous way that some of these women do get killed. And it's topical because women go missing all the time. It's kind of like, I'm glad that she's at least acknowledging this, right? So she took to her Twitter and said, the most pressing thing I've wanted to say about Killers of the Flower Moon, especially to Native women and youth, see it when and only if you feel ready, and see it with people you feel safe with. You'll likely have a lot of generational grief to process. You're not alone. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I do. After Reservation Dogs, Deborah Jacob slams the grueling killing Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah. And I like Killers of the Flower Moon. I understand what it was trying to achieve, and I think it did it very well. I think costuming was great. Yeah, costuming is good. I hope they get nominated for that. I don't know if it will get for. She'll get nominated for best performance as an actress, but I don't know if beyond that. I think obviously the Academy's shallow, so they will give it to Scorsese. I think perhaps it was their directing worthy. Best picture, no. All right. The other new movie. Well, we got a couple ones. It's a Wonderful Knife, had limited release. That's a holiday movie with Justin Long. It's a Wonderful Knife, a killer slasher movie. Dream Scenario, limited release, 6 theaters. That's that Nicolas Cage small movie, and that will be at the Art House Theater, so I'll be seeing it there. Paul is forced to navigate his newfound stardom. But the other new movie that opened up this week was The Holdovers in the 6th spot. Only 778 theaters, though, guys, and it's got 4 million. So people are talking about this. It was based on a book directed by Alexander Payne, a cranky history teacher. Paul Giamatti stars. And I figure it probably would have cracked the top 5 if it was in more theaters. Because it wasn't playing in the mainstream theaters. I had to go to an art house theater to see it. So yeah, it probably would have been in the top 5 if it was given a fair shake. But people are going out to see it. So guys, that's pretty much the way the weekend's box office has come out. Is it really a big surprise that the Marvels underperformed to the point that it's a bomb? Not really. The writing was on the wall for a while now. It was a huge misstep. This was a script, as I said. It should have come out after they'd done a proper sequel to Captain Marvel, where we talked about her and Monica a lot more, right? All right. Talking about The Holdovers, guys, I got to set up my review thing. I'm not going to go into a really long review thing about The Holdovers. I just feel like it should be a quick review for me to get into. So let me just pull up my poster. Whoops, that's not what I want, James. We want to get rid of the YouTube chat. All right. All right. A couple of interesting articles about this too. The Holdovers stars whoa. The Holdovers is directed by Alexander Payne and stars Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa. Yeah, this is out in limited release. Well, it's getting a wider release now, guys. It's a bit of an art house film. 2 hours and 13 minutes is the runtime, and you feel that runtime, but the standout here is the acting by Paul Giamatti. He plays a professor who has to take care of some kids over the Christmas break. A cranky history teacher at a remote prep school is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a troubled student who has no place to go. Yeah, you can see that troubled student right there. And you can see that Paul Giamatti's doing something with his eye there. He's got like a lazy eye. It kind of switches from side to side throughout the film, which is a little bit, yeah, what's going on with that? Davine Joy Randolph plays Mary in this, Mary Lamb, and she does a fantastic job. Kind of like as the cook, and she's like a supportive character. Not only in like as the cast, but as to one of the main characters there, played by Dominic Sessa. He's the lone student, troublemaker sort of. And it's long. It's a long movie. So know that going in. Is it a slow burn? Yeah, it is. But the performances stand out right up off the bat. Is this one of Alexander Payne's best movies? No. I still think Descendants is his best. I know that a lot of people like some of his other pictures that are like Election and Sideways. It was Sideways. People really liked Sideways. Nebraska was pretty good too, but The Descendants is my favorite. That's what introduced a lot of us to Shailene Woodley, George Clooney, and Alexander Payne directs this movie, The Holdovers, which was decent. But as I said, there was that length problem. And the length problem, well, that kind of weighed it down for me. And I saw headlines like this, where it's like, The Holdovers writer reveals the script was originally meant for a TV series. And when I think back about the movie, I'm like, I could see that. Because it happened in like these segments, and it just kind of goes on and on in some of these segments. And they don't really pay off. They set up things that just kind of like fizzle out, and they're not really part of the main arc. You could see that it was meant to be a series, and I think maybe this would have been better as a series, a limited series, of maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Because I said it in my Straight Out of the Theater, well, I didn't do it one, but right out of the theater, I was like, that felt like there was some story threads in there that could have been let go, because there's a setup where it's not only him that gets left behind at the start. There's some other kids there that do get left behind, and there's kind of like, you thought it would be kind of like a little bit like the Breakfast Club, where it's like, okay, so it's not going to be just, I understand that he'll be the main character, but these other kids will be involved too. But we spend time with these other kids, and then they just kind of like disappear at one point in the movie, and it's kind of like, what was the point of that then, right? Why couldn't we just get straight to the meat? What's one of, what was it, Vonnegut or something that said that try to start the story closer to the end as possible, as close to the end as possible? Yeah, this one does not. But it does start off establishing characters well, like Paul Giamatti coming in with the hard, gritty, cranky teacher. He's got a lot of, he fails his students, and it does a really good job in that sense. So let's go over to the score sheet and try to postulate some kind of a score here. So acting, directing, and story are of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. Acting, as I said, Paul Giamatti. But then, the woman who played the cook, the other supporting character, also did a great job. So, and I actually think Giamatti and Dominic Sessa does a good job. It's just the story lets them down a bit. Giamatti just chews it up when he's in frame. So I'll give acting a full 2 points. Directing, things were competently shot, but if you are really a stickler for details, it's supposed to be taking place in 1971, and when they go into like the city and stuff like that, you can see in the background there's cars with like sunroofs, retractable sunroofs and stuff. Like, no, guys. Now the story. It's an interesting premise, so you get that. Was it meant as a series beforehand? Possibly. The story does have some laughs at times, so I'll give it that. What's it trying to say towards the end? Stick with your dreams. Yeah, most kids have, trouble climbing up the ladder at times, and that's pretty much what it is about, sort of. Does it really pay off to me at the end? Or do you leave the movie theater feeling inspired? No, you just kind of feel like at the end of the day, well, that's a movie where a bunch of stuff happened. It wasn't terrible. It's long though, guys. 2 hours and 13 minutes, and that's to the detriment of the film, and the execution of it, and that's where I got a dog points. So, what are people saying about this movie right now? Let's go over to the tomato meter and take a look. Wow, 96 by the critics, 90 by the audience. So people are resonating with it. My criticisms about the story and about the eye. Watch the eye, guys, when you watch this. It's going to frustrate you when you see it. It'll be like, wait a minute, I thought it was on this side. No, now it's on that side. What's going on here, man? Anyway, that's a minor thing. Wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it would be. Uh, like as I said, there's some really good tender moments in here that do pay off. Uh, they show you things instead of just a character telling you things, right? There's a scene where he's sitting there in the church, and she comes in, and there's like scenes where there's no dialogue, but you understand what's going on, and you understand the emotions between the two characters. So for that, maybe I'll give a little bit more credit to the directing. Yeah, I'll give it a little bit more. But it's these three that are like carrying the movie, right? That you're involved with. And Paul Giamatti's character does a great job. But yeah, it's mostly those three. And there's some fun dialogue. Yeah, dialogue-wise, it's sharp. You can see at times. It's funny. And things come around full circle towards the end. But it does feel like there's a lot crammed in there. And I can't give it as high as 96. I can't. Let's take a look at some of what the snapshot reviews say. Anybody that jumps off the page at me here? No, not really. CNN says, nothing about the Holdovers sounds particularly special, and it's yet one of director Alexander Payne's best films. Very funny, occasionally touching, and a sterling example of the bonds that can be forged by an unlikely family. Yeah, and that's what happens. Bonds that happen from an unlikely family. I like that. Maybe I will be a little bit more relaxed on my final score. I want to try to find somebody who didn't like it. Okay, Book and Film Globe said, sour but also weirdly cloying, full of sympathy for the working man, yet also strangely pretentious. A nostalgic tribute to naturalistic 1970s cinema that somehow completely misses the point of those movies. Well, that's a little bit too nuanced for my taste. I never grew up on 70s movies. James, Star Wars came out in the 70s. Oh, maybe, I guess. Okay, somebody else who didn't like it. Film Festival Today says, the result mixes charm and smarm in equal measure, never quite resolving into a meaningful exercise despite the strenuous efforts of all involved. So he's conceding there that, yeah, at least everybody who saw it really enjoyed it. Who's this? Jimmy Cage. No, we don't need to. Oh, Richard Roper. Okay, we'll end with that. Nearly 20 years after Alexander Payne and Paul Giamatti teamed up for Sideways, they reunited for the wintry character study, with Giamatti once again turning in a masterful work as a hard-tipping misanthrope. All right, Holdovers. Now, as I said, I don't think I can be quite as high as that. There's value here, guys. There is acting, and there's some minor payoffs. So let's finish out this score sheet and round out this review. So I decided, based on that, I will give directing 1.5. Yeah. Story, I don't know. I don't know yet. Watchability factor. Watch it because Giamatti. It's got an interesting premise. Yeah, so that's a full point there. Is it a 6.5, James? No, is it the same as the Marvels? No, I do think it does deserve a little bit of a second look, that maybe that runtime will pay off a little bit more later on a second viewing. It'll be like, okay, now I understand why that's there. Maybe. Cinematography, serviceable. Score, like soundtrack, serviceable. Can I scratch out anything more for it, though? Do I, like, it's not one that I want to own on Blu-ray or anything like that. It just happened. It's there. It's a competently made film. Yeah, I'll stick with that. That's where I land. 7 out of 10 for the Holdovers, guys. Did you go out and see it? Are you going to go see it? It'll get a wider release because when it opened up in the theaters this weekend, it only had 778 theaters. So it will get a bit of a wider release, especially now that we're in an awards season. And that's a good return for 778 theaters, 3.2 million. So people who are seeing it, as I said, are liking it. And, I'm just a little bit in the minority here. Just maybe because I do follow these things. I look at headlines like is the Holdovers really a 70s movie, or is it the new Green Book? Yeah, as I said, there's things going on in the background where if you pay attention to the cars and stuff like that, um, yeah, we'd be like, wait, this was supposed to be the 70s. Uh, Okay, fine. But yeah, Paul Giamatti, guys, I would say is worthwhile to go see this. And I think you will get awards consideration. So based on that, as movie fans, The Holdovers is worth seeing. 7 out of 10 is what I give it in my book. It could be maybe 7.5, but I just don't know where I would find that. So you guys, if you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. What else can you find here on Mirror Domains? Well, if you like these kinds of movie reviews, my review for The Marvels is up on the channel. Priscilla, yeah, that might be your bag. I enjoyed Priscilla as well. Five Nights at Freddy's is up on the channel, and right now we're watching Survivor Season 45 and Hell's Kitchen Season 22. Lots of fun watching those series. We watched the full series of Fall of House of Usher. That's up on the channel right now. Great series, great series. Of course, then we do movie news throughout the week where we talk about various trending movie news headlines, new movie news headlines. And yeah, hopefully you'll come join us. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all the other social medias. You're watching Mirror Domains. Okay, so that will be cut out and put up on the channel later on. Let's pull up some more headlines. Over the weekend, we got a couple of new trailers that dropped. Let's talk about that. Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire. And it's, well, we got the teaser, but we got the first official trailer over the weekend. And you know I want to see this movie because of Sophia Boutella. Jenna Malone's in this? Did we see Jenna Malone in this? I don't know. Corey Stoll's going to be in this. The trailer dropped, guys, and it's going to be on Netflix in December. And we will be doing a full live watch-along when it drops the day of. So pay attention to the channel for this. It looks like it takes inspiration from like Firefly and Star Wars. Well, we know that Zack Snyder said that he was, if he ever got tasked to make a Star Wars, like was a huge inspiration to him. He wasn't asked, but he had a script, and this was that script. So you can see that. Yeah, and what I mean by the Firefly is like the aesthetic of like a normal town with these spaceships coming in, kind of thing. Sophia Boutella in the trailer. It didn't really go down the way that I thought it was going to be. It doesn't quite seem to have that sleek look, though, that like, say, like a James Cameron would bring to this. I know that Snyder has his fans, and I appreciate some of his work, but I'm mostly seeing it because of Sophia Boutella, and he likes to champion women warriors, right? Snyder, so I appreciate that. And the trailer worked, I think. Like I think Hunnam's supposed to be like a Han Solo-y type character, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it starts off on this planet, and then about halfway through it becomes it shows us space and stuff, and it's about her like going around collecting all of these fighters, right, to help fight against the evil bad guys, the evil empire. There was a shot here. Those look very style. Doesn't look too inspired, right? It looks like it's harkening between, well, Firefly and something like an HK, like from Cameron's Terminator movies, right? There are no heroes. So it's a bit about rebellion. Like, it looks grand in scope. It does. And I wish that I could see it in the theater. That looks a little harkening, right? Some kind of spider thing. Like, I admit that, yeah, a lot of Snyder's films, you could freeze frame a shot of it, and it's like, it's very poetic. It's very comic booky, right? Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. December 22nd. Yeah, good trailer. Let's see what people say about it. I really hope this also gets a theatrical run. I'd be perfectly fine seeing this on the big screen. Well, why can't they? They, they put Killers of the Flower Moon in the theater. Last year they put Glass Onion in the theater for a week. I really wish they would put this in the theater for a small run, right? Wow, nice seeing Sophia Patella back on this big screen. Loved her since the beginnings as a B girl. She's a dancer, right? So Sophia Patella fans are out there. Good. They should give this a theatrical run if it does really well for Netflix. But yeah, Netflix is not. They don't really care about it being in theater. Like Glass Onion would have made a whole bunch of money if they stuck it in the theater for more than just a week. Like the designs, they all look great. Like aesthetically, I think it'll look great. It's just, will the story resonate? And we don't know yet. We don't know yet, guys. Um, yeah. Did you guys see the trailer? Let me know if you did in the comments below and you're looking forward to it. Because we are 6 weeks away now from it. Let's take a look at the Damsel trailer that also dropped. Damsel, Millie Bobby Brown fans. We saw the poster last week. Damsel. A dutiful damsel agrees to marry a handsome prince, only to find out the royal family has recruited her as a sacrifice. To repay an ancient debt, thrown into a cave with a fire-breathing dragon, she must rely on her wits and will to survive. And Millie Bobby Brown is the perfect person to cast as this, because she can play the princess for sure. But when she starts to throw down with the dragon and she starts to learn to survive, I thought that this stuff all worked magnificently for what this trailer was trying to portray. A little bit kind of like uh, Dark Knight Rises there, huh? Um, and the trailer plays out in a different way than I thought it would. I thought it would be kind of like the campy, kind of like, here's a teen kind of movie for Netflix, but it's got much more of a serious tone to it, musically as well as story wise. And I think it's going to pay off. Yes, I think it will. Who's the evil queen here? Robin Wright. Yeah, Nick Robinson. I guess is going to play the prince, maybe that she has to marry. Angela Bassett's in this. Ray Winstone. Trailer looked good. I'm looking forward to this. This movie was supposed to come out this year, but it got pushed due to the strike and stuff like that. And I'm intrigued. And when she's in the cave, yeah, she sees all these other princesses that must have written their name. Because when you're left into the cave and you don't have any weapons or anything, how are you supposed to fight it? The only thing you can leave behind is some kind of a memento that hey, I was here. She sees that. I got like this has the potential to be on par with something like Crawl. It does. You know Millie's going to bring it. You know she's going to bring it. Uh, Acting wise, she climbs up. She realizes that she can't get out of the caves, so she's either going to have to kill it, maybe for food. She looks great, guys. You gotta get on making a Princess Leia film with her in it. For God's sakes, that's what I would see. Damsel, 2024 on Netflix. So I will be watching that one for sure, guys, for sure. What are people saying about it? The guy who wrote this gave us Wrath of the Titans and Fast 10, so don't expect too much greatness. Oh, okay. Wow. Thanks for the info on that one. I'm still going to watch it because of Millie Bobby Brown, but it's kind of like Wrath of the Titans sucked. When Fiona couldn't wait for Shrek, at first it looked like 11 was back in the upside down. What? The thumbnail made me think that if she's stuck in upside down again. Yeah, again, so you got Millie Bobby Brown fans, Stranger Things fans are going to follow her and capitalize on that. Put her into some interesting projects because she can act. She can bring it, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Damsel trailer. It worked for me. Expected 2024. Um, yeah. What's next? Terminator trailer. Ooh, James, you forgot to pull that one out, didn't I? Ooh, what the heck was that? Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Netflix teaser drops teaser trailer for Terminator anime series. So that's what this is, anime series. Indeed. As part of their Geek Rec event, Japan Animation. James Cameron doesn't seem to be involved in it, though, guys. A future war has raged for decades between a few human survivors and an endless army of machines. So this is about the future war? Pull out the trailer. Oh, so it's really just, it doesn't really show that much. It's just, yeah, there's no point. It's just logos. Terminator. Coming to Netflix. People thought that they were going to get the future war with Salvation, and we got a touch of it, but Mick G really fumbled the ball on that one. You managed to get Bryce Dallas Howard and Christian Bale on board for that movie, man. And look at what you did with it. You ruined the trailer. You ruined the big twist of the movie in the trailers by showing Sam Worthington being the robot, even though we probably could have figured it out. Maybe that's why they showed. It just, I don't know. There's some interesting ideas in there. I wanted to see more. It's just, yeah, Terminator Salvation. But anyway, we got an anime series coming in along the way that apparently will not have James Cameron involved, which will be kind of like a huge thumbs down from most of us, because most of us only like Terminator if Cameron is involved, except for Dark Fate, because apparently he had some say on the script for Dark Fate, and look how that landed. Yeah. Well, it happens. Well, we'll take a look. Gray Man 2. The Gray Man 2 sequel is a maybe. Netflix film had admit it had too much action. Well, it wasn't the action, it was the cheesy dialogue. That opening club scene it immediately turned me off. I was like, nah, I'm not watching this. And I do like Ryan Gosling and I do like Chris Evans. But the directors, they're showing that they're not outside of the MCU. They don't produce hits. They don't have that magic. They don't understand it for some reason. I don't get it either. The Russo brothers, yeah, they've had bombs outside of the MCU, so it's a weird mix, man. Weird things. You know, the guys Joe and Anthony Russo would admit they had the biggest theatrical hit of all time with Avengers Endgame, right? And moving into streaming, they were aspirationally trying to do that for their own. Like, how do we make the biggest thing of all time? And we probably put too much action in that movie. There were too many action set pieces, and I think we should have slowed down a bit for the character. Whatever the case, Netflix is still in business with the Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown movie, The Electric State, due out in 2025. It's supposed to be an action film. Yeah, Netflix is in no danger. But anybody else who saw Gray Man didn't really talk about it that much. It just kind of came and went. Yeah, I don't think we need a sequel of that. Next, Gladiator 2. Let's talk about that. Gladiator 2 production can resume after repairs are made on the deteriorating sets. Well, yeah, because of the actor strike, because of the writer's strike, things got shut down. Gladiator 2 was getting ready to shoot because Ridley Scott was done his work with Napoleon. So it was ramping up. So they got to fix the sets. That's fine. They'll fix that. Hey, George Lucas in Star Wars is known to deal with sets that get destroyed in sandstorms and stuff. So Gladiator 2 will be able to fix things up rather quickly. I think it'll just add to the cost. Again, probably making Gladiator 2 a $200 million budget. And I just, every movie that comes out now, if you declare that it's got a $250 million budget, if your name isn't James Cameron or Christopher Nolan, I don't see why anybody would give you that amount of money anymore. And that includes people like if you're a Spielberg or you're a Scorsese, I wouldn't give you that amount of money. Like what happened to Francis Ford Coppola and Metropolis. They're like, no, we're not going to give you that amount of money to make Metropolis. So he had to go out and fund it himself. And that should be happening to Scorsese and Spielberg. Anyway, it's not, and it won't. So deal with it, James. Don't you know they're the greatest filmmakers of all time? Or if they're so great, then. And anyway, you heard my arguments on that. All right, Gladiator 2. Yeah. So they'll be back on track for that soon. Any comments? I just don't get why they bring back Spencer Treat Clark as Lucius. The guy's still active. What, ancient Rome deteriorated too? That would be historically accurate. Give me a break. What? What are you talking about? Next. Taylor Swift is back in the headlines. Unbelievable. Yes. Well, she's still raking it in at the box office with the Eras Tour movie. But I guess she's over in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires. Taylor Swift asked fans not to throw objects. Oh, God. No. Morons. And she's got a big stage. Why are you throwing stuff? So she stopped the concert to say, please don't throw stuff on the stage. It really freaks me out. And it should. And what's going to happen is that she'll just leave the stage and you guys will be left with them. Like, it's moronic. I don't understand it. I never understand it. You know, I just saw one of my favorite bands, Big Wreck. Was I throwing stuff on stage? No. Because I respected that artist. You're going to pay that amount of money to go see her. Why would you throw anything on? It's stupid. And there's no need to rant about that. Just because communication means having gentle, healthy boundaries, it really freaks me out when stuff gets thrown out on stage, because if it's on the stage, then a dancer can trip on it. Yeah, that, and she's got lots of dancers. And the dancers are also part of the fun of watching that show, because they get so involved into it. It's just like, wow. Like when I saw the movie, it was like, yeah, Taylor's the centerpiece, but it's kind of like I was watching the other dancers on the side too, because they just get into it and their moves are also really cool. But anyway, I love that you brought presents and that is so nice, but can you please not throw them up on stage? I love you so much. Okay, so they were presents. At least they weren't beer bottles or anything like that. That's awful. So she did stop.
And just because communication means having gentle, healthy boundaries, it really freaks me out when stuff gets thrown on the stage. Because if it's on the stage, then a dancer can trip on it.
Okay.
And I love that you brought presents, and that is so nice. But just, can you please not throw them on the stage? I love you so much.
Okay. So she's diplomatic about it. Good. All right. Let's go on to some hit or miss headlines. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. And if it's a miss, we'll move on. The Walking Dead's Chandler Riggs set to play Spider-Man in an indie fan film. Well, yeah, he after they killed his character Carl, Chandler Riggs really hasn't done that much. So he's going to appear in a fan film, huh? He looks a little bit like, maybe, I don't know. Fan film though, huh? I'll check it out. Maybe. Next, The Legend of Zelda Machine Gun Kelly's bold ultimatum. If I don't play Link, we have a problem. No. Well, first of all, I think he's too old for what they want. They want somebody who could portray someone between 15 and 20. Rapper turned rock star. No. That's worth a laugh, though. If I don't play Link, we have a problem. Well, first of all, you haven't established yourself well enough to be an actor that can carry the film. And two, you're a walking stick. My God, man. Put on some muscle. Uh, yeah. No. Because it's live action, you do want somebody in there who does have some acting chops. I know he's done his side project stuff, guys, but I would still prefer him to build up his resume, and I just don't see it. Next, Tom Hiddleston teases the possible return of Marvel characters who have died. Death is up for grabs. Well, that's part of the problem. Loki's dead, and yet they're still making these series about him because fans want to see it. And I have no problem with giving fans what they want. Just don't kill the character then. And don't tease me with the fake deaths. They've done it to death. Yeah, because the actor strike is done. The late night shows returned last week with a bunch of them on their shows, and you hear that they're wanting to have Loki and Thor have one more big movie. Go that route then. Do that, and close it out. Close it out, guys. Next, Ferrari star Adam Driver tells fest goer to F you after being asked about cheesy crash scenes. Well, apparently, for the Ferrari movie, which is one of my most anticipated movies left remaining of the year, the director, Michael Mann, said it himself, he was very focused in on trying to make those crash scenes look real and have real stuntmen do them. So cheesy crash scenes. I'm with Adam Driver. Did you see the movie? Not yet. Well, if you didn't, then, or if you did, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Adam Driver, whatever. He doesn't put up with a bunch of. He's tired of. He doesn't like the going to the panels and stuff like that. That's why he will never be part of like Mr. Fantastic, guys. That's why, because that's just not his bag. All right, is that all I got? That's all I got for right now. If there's anything else breaking, then we will talk about it. But we got some time here. We're just coming up to the hour mark now, right? So let's go over to the Twitterverse and see if we missed anything. Exclusive new look at Saltburn this Thanksgiving. Yeah. Carey Mulligan. Yeah. I saw the preview for Maestro while I went to see the Holdovers, and it looked good. You know, I really paid attention to what Carey Mulligan was doing in the trailer, and I would like to see her get nominated if it's going to be good. It's going to be on Netflix too, so I don't know. Maestro might be one that may be too dry for a watch along. I will see it. So Bradley Cooper directs. Lily Gladstone. Somebody I don't know. Madeline Klein. She, of course, was in Glass Onion, right? Anne Hathaway, we know. Great smile. Godzilla? Yes. The new Dolby poster for Godzilla -1 in theaters December 1st. One of my, it's not the most anticipated, but I am going to go see it. Next. Anchored by powerhouse performances by Tom Blythe and Rachel Zegler, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a tense, gripping dystopian epic that is as much a haunting character study as it is an intelligent political thriller. You know what? That reminds me. So, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the Snakes, the review embargo's down 68%. So critics are talking about it, huh? Perry likes it. Another rock-solid addition to the film franchise, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, loses some steam in the last chapter, but the first two are phenomenal. The cast is on point. Tom Blythe excels at playing a protagonist that is a deteriorating moral compass. Well, that's the thing that you want to see, right? Because it's about President Snow before he becomes evil, before he becomes corrupt. But this movie will attract all of the Rachel Zegler haters, and they'll be like, I'm going to give the movie a fair shake. Here, I made all these videos about me hating Rachel Zegler. And then they'll come out of the movie just like they did the Marvels and say, "Oh no, it was terrible. It was trash. I can't believe that they're trying to shove this stuff down our throats." I'm watching it because of Peter Dinklage. Schwartzman, yeah, Schwartzman never hurts the film either. Viola Davis, and I am curious about the performance from Tom Blythe. I am. Next, Jacob Elordi behind the scenes. GQ. Rosamund Pike. Before I get into talking about Saltburn, I just need to do some ironing. Rosamund Pike's cool. Andrew Scott. Barry Keoghan. Saltburn. Yep, that's coming out, guys. The first trailer for Garfield movie with Chris Pratt.
You hungry, little guy?
You think he'd see that coming?
Let's get it.
So it's a little bit more of a bubbly Garfield, huh? God damn. Damn these trailers. Yeah, the media player on Twitter is terrible. A new poster for Ironclaw. That's another one that's, see, now that one is anticipated by me. December 22nd. I do want to see that one. Because I do like wrestling. Back then, when I was a kid, I used to watch it all the time. Jacob Elordi again. Says Priscilla approved of his Elvis voice. She said I got the voice right, which was everything I needed to get. It's all about Jacob Elordi, huh? He liked Teenage Mutant Mayhem. And that wasn't too violent for you. Yeah, see, he's got the glasses on there. Can you see a little bit of Clark Kent in there? You can, right? Of course, he won't be playing it, but I'm sure people will use that for what ifs. Here's what Clark Kent could have looked like, guys. Yeah, that's what people will say. Sofia Coppola. Cool, man. All right, guys. What's yeah? See what I said here? What's with the Jacob Elordi all of a sudden? Lots of headlines with him, huh? Greta Gerwig on Barbenheimer phenomenon. Chris Nolan is one of my favorite heroes. A proper tour. It is an odd pairing, but it's kind of like a film festival. You've got to watch 3 movies a day. You know, I really like the Barbie film. I did. It's going to age well, I think. Because as people are starting to realize what the movie was actually about, it's got some really deep undertones to it that are kind of like, wow. Jacob Elordi plays a younger version of Richard Gere's character Paul Schrader's in O Canada, which revolves around the life of a tormented writer on the brink of death. Oh, okay. Richard Gere, huh? Greta Gerwig, Sydney Sweeney. Well, guys, I think that's pretty much all we got in the can. Reese Witherspoon, Laura Dern, and Zoe Kravitz out in Brentwood. We need more from Reese Witherspoon. Trailer for Rebel Moon. Yeah, we got that. We covered that. Rachel Zegler. All right. Yeah. Let's round it up. All right, guys, that's it for me today. What do you guys think about those headlines? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button. We'll be back with some YouTube shorts this afternoon. We'll just have some fun. Why not? All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains.